Hello, my name is Amy. Welcome back to a brand new video. So as per requested by a lot of you guys, I am gonna do a comparison of all my mini bags. Basically, the majority of my handbags are mini bags because that's just my preference. So I have a total of 12 different type of mini bags to show you. There are those that are really tiny, so they are super mini bags, and there are those that are actually quite roomy, and I would almost consider them as being small bags. I won't go into too much into each bag in terms of the actual review, the pros and cons, just because I have videos on each of these bags. So I will link all of those down below for you guys so that you can really watch the in-depth review of each of them. But what I will want to do for this video in particular is that I will show you mod shots of each of them, and then perhaps even a couple of them side by side, just so that you get an idea how it looks on me. I am 5 feet 4 inches tall, so I'll just show you. This is me, but I'll do it a little bit more close up so that you can see. This is my natural waist, and then this is my hips. This little circle clutch is rather long, but because it is on the smaller side, it's fine that it's longer because it just looks cute. It's a whimsical bag. So this chain length is quite long. It's very similar to the rectangle mini, pretty much similar at where it ends almost. Bag height wise on top, very similar. So because I'm wearing a romper, it doesn't look like this is out of place. And like I said, I feel like this particular mini is a little bit closer to the body. It doesn't stick out as much, so I don't mind that it's a bit longer on this one. But it depends on the outfit. Some outfits, like when you're wearing a high-waisted jean or high-waisted skirt, then there's a bit of more of a division, so then you're gonna really notice that it's extra long. This is how it looks like on the side. So like I said, this is my hips, so it's quite long. But on a mini bag, it's acceptable. So it really just depends on how like the proportion, like how it looks on you. So I feel like this color, this particular bag is still fine. Let's go ahead and compare it to the second smallest bag. So this is the Valentino Rockstud crossbody bag. It has 5 different settings. I just have it in the middle. I didn't bother changing it. It's very similar length as well. So I'm just gonna show you. Actually, it's a little higher than this one, but you can make it shorter even. So I find that it's fine because this bag is quite short, so it still ends quite at a good, at a good length. Like I said, this is my hip right here. So this is how this one looks like. It can be slightly longer because I have it in the middle, or slightly shorter. This one also looks great as a shoulder bag. And also, a lot of you were mentioning that you've seen on Chase Amy's video, or on my Instagram perhaps, that she wears it as a clutch or as a wristlet. She just basically used that one strap, the shorter one, and just clipped it together to make it into a clutch. It's not perfect, but you can make it work. So you just have to wiggle it in, and then it becomes a clutch. So it's possible. It's nice to have the option, and no one cares that there's a little no one cares that there's a little buckle there. No one will see it. So that's a nice little trick there. One more comparison with the round clutch, and then we'll move on. So this one is my square mini, and the square mini is a lot shorter than the rectangle. So I'll just give you a very quick overview. See how much shorter it is, and it is my preferred length, crossbody wise or shoulder wise. So this is how it looks on me. To me, this looks better than this one lengthwise, but That's just because my preference is that it sits on top of my hips. This is my hip bone. The bag sits right on top of my hip bone, and that's my preference. This one sits below my hip bone. My hip bone's right there, and it sits below. It's okay just because it's tiny. You guys are probably really familiar with this bag anyway. It does have a much shorter chain. It looks amazing crossbody or shoulder wear on me. Like I said, I'm 5'4". I just feel like it looks much better. See, that's the difference. This one is on the longer side. This one sits right on top of my hips. This one is below my hips. Now let's show you the difference between this and this. So this is the Reissue Mini. This is a newer offering, so not everybody will have this bag unless you have the older version with the double flap, the 224. But I'm just fixing it to wear crossbody just to show you. See, this one has a shorter, slightly shorter chain because they both sit right on top of my hips. So this is quite nice in terms of how I like it on my body. Some of you might be wondering how it looks in comparison to the Coco handle, like if I wore it on the shoulder. So I'll show you that. The Coco handle is still a bit shorter, but the bag is a bit taller. So the Coco handle definitely looks the best when worn on the shoulder. It just looks very elegant. It's just really, really pretty. So this is how it looks. This is the perfect, also the perfect length to wear on the shoulder. But I don't mind the mini, especially the square one, because it's a bit on the shorter side. This is how the Coco handle looks on me. As you can see, the handle can really dig into you, especially because the chain can be different lengths as well. So the gray one that I have, the chain is just a bit longer, so the gray one will sit a little lower. In a pinch, if you're petite and if you're not in the dead of winter, then you can kind of wear it crossbody like that. It's not ideal, but it works. I do get a lot of questions about whether the Coco handle, you know, whether you should choose it as your first bag, and I don't think that you should. Obviously, it's your decision in the end. But like I said, personally, I would go with a mini flat first. I would go with the Gabrielle second, and then I would go with the Coco handle last, just because the Coco handle is obviously not as versatile as everything else that I own. But it is a really pretty bag. You can wear it on the crook of your arm. You know, the handle is what makes the difference for this bag. And then obviously if you wear it on the shoulder, it's super comfortable because of the strap. It has this piece there. And you know, if you're a fan of the shape, then you're gonna love it. My Gabrielle, which is one of my favorite, all-time favorite. The Gabrielle has so many different ways you can wear. I'm just gonna show you my favorite ways. Let's just fix this chain first. The chain can get tangled a little bit. Not something that I mind, but something that you might want to keep in mind. So it looks great like that as a shoulder bag, and the chain detail is really, really pretty. So that's one way of wearing it as compared to the Coco handle on the shoulder. The Coco handle is just so princessy, so like pretty, whereas this one is just kind of cool and can still be dressed up. You know, I feel like I still look really, you know, it's still like a really pretty bag, but just a little bit more edgy and a little bit more modern. If I were to wear it crossbody, like super long, it's not something that I do often, but I do it once in a while. It's really cool though. Like, I know some people think that it's kind of crazy, but it really isn't. It's cool. It's really, I mean, I know it's super long, but it is, the intention of it is to make it super unusual and long. So I actually really like it, especially in winter when I'm just switching from this V wear. Like if I'm just wearing on the V, like a V, like that. Sometimes when I'm getting out of the car or whatever, then I just leave it. I just like leave it like that. I get out of the car, I hold it like this, I get out of the car, and then I put it back on. You know, so sometimes I just wear this super long, like for a few minutes only, but it's cool and it looks great on the photograph. So these are the ways that I wear it with. Let us compare the two Valentino bags. So with this Valentino bag, you can wear it as a handle. So with this one you can't, but you could just wear it as a wristlet. So I guess that's your option for wearing it short or, you know, super easy. So this, I love it. I love it like this. See how dressy it makes this whole look. You know, holding it by hand like that, or just casually, because it's so casual. It's on the sides like clutch. Unfortunately, there's no way for this to become a short strap, I suppose, unless you put your own clip. Then I guess you can have a tiny little bag. This color, the powder color, the poudre or the pink powder, is super versatile. It goes with black, it goes with white, it goes with red, it goes with denim, it goes with literally everything. So this is how it looks like on the shoulder. Super pretty. But for the most part with this bag, I like to just use the handle because it's the most pretty. It's the most pretty thing on this bag, honestly. It's such a good handle. Or occasionally I like to do that when I want to be hands-free. I just wear it on doubled on one side, and it's just a little bit more dressy just because it's shorter, and it looks very elegant. Let's compare the VUITTON with the Valentino because they can both be doubled up, which I really like. So see, this is doubled up. It's very, you know, even though this bag is kind of loud, it's still, I find that because you can wear it doubled up, it looks good. You know, it looks a little bit more dressy. It looks a little bit more feminine, a little bit less casual. I find that these two bags are similar that way because of the chain. You can move it around. So here's how it looks like. This chain is slightly longer, but it looks great. And then crossbody wise, I kind of prefer this one just because it sits right on top of my hips. This one is on the lower side, and plus I feel like the shape is just nicer if you hold it by hand like this. But it's an option if you like it. Let's compare the LV bag and something kind of along the lines of it, like in terms of shape. It's not completely similar, but it's kind of similar. I like that the LV bag, you can just dress it up, dress it down, you can put charms on it. It's very secure with the zipper. It's kind of hard for someone else to open it because you're definitely going to feel it. It's a great everyday bag. They both are because they both accommodate a lot. This is more of a summer bag because of the color, and also just because of the bucket style, which I love. But you know, this LV canvas is just timeless. You know, you cannot go wrong with it. It's still super cute. It's just a different vibe, right? And you can dress it up to a certain extent. It's not going to be as dressy as all the other bags, but it still works. And as a crossbody, right now I have it on the bottom and on the opposite upper. As a crossbody, it's super cute. It's very whimsical. It's in front of you. It's well protected. You know, it's not going anywhere. You can also move the strap to here to make it more crossbody. It's very cute. It's a great travel bag. It fits a lot. With the charms, it's so much easier to open and close because you can just pull on your charms. It's not hard at all to open and close. This one has a long strap as well as a shorter strap. I love having the shorter strap. Like I said, I have loving these handles. It's just amazing. I love my flat bags, but sometimes they are not, like when my shoulders get tired, then you just can't really hold it as well like with the handles. I love the option of having the extra handle. But I love having the extra strap as well. The strap is not super, I mean, there's 3 holes, but they're not, it doesn't really make that much of a big difference in terms of making it shorter or longer just by a very tiny bit. So when I wear it crossbody, this is how it looks like. The bucket shape is just an iconic, timeless shape, and it's very summery. That's why I picked it in a summer color. I just think that it looks amazing in the summer, worn crossbody or handheld. I love holding this by hand just because it's so easy. It's super easy and it's so cute. So cute. And on the crook of the arm as well. So easy. Even with this summer romper, it looks good together even though it's black. Red is definitely a very neutral color as well. Obviously if you're wearing like 10 different colors and you wear red on top, it might not go, but otherwise it's such neutral, like shades of reds. So I love that about it. This is the LV Twice. See how like it's such a easy, very easy bag. It's so easy to style. It's very flat. It's close to your body. It fits a lot of stuff. It's well made. It's just a classic shape. You cannot go wrong with it. I mean, if you get bored of it, just put it aside and then come back to it a few months later and wear it as a clutch. And I really don't care that the straps are dangling. It's whatever. It's, you know, it's not super formal obviously, but it's just it's a very timeless shape, and that's why something like this you cannot go wrong with either. And between the two, like I said, you really cannot go wrong. They are amazing little bags, and they both are so wearable and so easy to style. I would say this one is slightly more classy, but you could get tired of the style just because it's so simple. So you know, having something as whimsical as this one is just fun as well, and it's just, you know, there's something about this bag that's very attractive and very fun to have. This one too, super cute, handheld, right? But also super cute when you just, you know, casually crook of the arm. Very cute. What else can you do crook of the arm? You can't do crook of the arm with this one, but you can handheld it. Super cute. Again, dressier, casual, feminine, whimsical. This one is kind of whimsical, but also feminine, which I like. If you have the reissue, like the regular reissue that's really flat, you can also clutch it. If yours is more folded on the bottom, then you can easily clutch it as well. So there's that. With this one, it's easy because you have that handle on top. It's not going anywhere. With this one, you really have to hold on to the bottom. So that's that. So my most tiniest bag is this round clutch with chain. This is the official name at Chanel. It is a really cute bag, but as I said in my review, it is more of a novelty bag. When I bought this, I thought it was such a cute novelty item. It's still, I mean, I know that it doesn't fit a phone, which I know in the past I would never have bought, but it was just so cute, and I love the iridescence on the leather of this little bag. So that's the reason why I decided to go with it. And plus, there are scenarios in my life where I always felt like even my mini bags are too big. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it is the case. Just as an example, I find that this bag is great for night outs, like short night outs. So for example, if you're just going out for a dinner and coming back, or if you're just going to the movie and coming back home. So those types of scenarios do happen quite a lot. I was asked where I put my phone, so in the summer I would probably be holding it in my hand. Like I said, if it's for a short outing, it's okay. I do look at my phone often enough that I don't mind holding it by hand. And if it's in the winter, then I have my winter jacket to put it in the pocket. Here's a side-by-side look of the mini round clutch with chain and the square mini. huge difference, as you can see, and that's also the reason why this really doesn't fit as much. And as I said, it really is a novelty bag, so do buy it with that in mind. Don't buy it just because it is on the cheaper side. It really is a novelty bag. It's so super mini, and it really is just because I like it, just because this combination is really awesome. But otherwise, I suggest that you go for a square mini or a rectangle mini, because it just is such a big difference in terms of the actual dimensions and how much more you can fit. I find that this fits just as much as the rectangle mini, only because I'm able to stand up my SLGs in it. When I choose a mini bag to travel with, this is usually my go-to, just because it's black, and also it's really a lot easier for me to stand up things in it. I just find that it's so much easier to organize things on the go. This is one of my favorite as well because of the color, but to be honest, I'm not as a big fan of it in terms of the chain length. And I know that a lot of people do prefer the rectangular because the length is more universal for most people, but for me, I just find it a bit too long, although I'm okay with it. I do find that with the quilted design and with you know, because each season is different, I do find that this one does sit a bit closer to the body, so I don't mind that it's a bit longer. I don't think that I'll be adding another rectangle mini in my collection unless, you know, of course, unless it's an amazing color combination or material or collection, which, you know, that's the reason why I was really interested in the gold croc and boss from the latest collection. But otherwise, the rectangle mini is not my favorite shape. I think aside from the fact that it can fit a phone really comfortably because it is a longer bag, aside from that, you can't really sit your SLGs upright as well. I mean, you can do it, but it kind of distorts the shape of the flap. They are capacity wise very similar, and as you can see side by side, they are very similar, just different shape. I personally prefer and think that this shape is a lot cuter, but I do know that the majority of people do prefer the rectangle. But that's just personal preference, like I said. So here's is a side-by-side look of them. My latest addition, this is the graffiti reissue from the 19A Mitsida Ancient Egypt collection. The length of this bag is exactly the same, comparing it from the outside. But in terms of the height, that's where the difference lies. I would say that the reissue is about a ½ inch taller, just like the square mini. The square mini is a ½ inch taller than this one, and that is also the reason why I find this bag to be a lot roomier, because even though they are very similar in shape with the rectangle mini, like, you know, the width-wise, depth-wise also, they are very similar. This one, because it is taller, you can stand up your SLGs, and that way it just allows you to put more things in it, or it just allows you to be a little bit more efficient and just reorganize things a little bit easier. Because it's easy to play Tetris and put everything you need in a bag. The challenge is to be able to retrieve those things and put it back in, reorganize the bag. That's the challenging part, because when you're at the cashier and you're trying to rush, pay, and there's a line behind you, that's when you feel stressed out if your bag is hard to reorganize. And that's how I feel about this bag sometimes. Whereas a taller bag, it's just so much easier to just find that slot and just slot it in. Capacity wise, this one is also, you know, a step further because it is a lot taller. And like I said, I am a big fan of just slightly taller bags, but still in the mini family. Like I said, this bag has been the most, literally the most surprising for me, because I just didn't even realize how practical and how carefree it is. Of course, it depends on the individual too. I know that some people are just more rough with their bags, with their items, and that's just how they are, and that's fine. You do you. Personally, I love to keep my things pristine, not just bag wise, like pretty much everything wise. And so that's just part of my personality, and I do find that without having to baby it constantly, I don't really baby my bags, but I do take a conscious effort to be nice to my bags. You know, I'm gentle with them. I don't ever sit them on the floor, and I always find a nice sort of clean spot on the table or on the chair to put it aside. If not, I just leave it on my lap. That's probably just like the best way if it's really crowded. If you're just curious about this and you're just not sure, I think chances are you're gonna love it. You're gonna end up loving it if you do get it, just because that's exactly what happened to me. There's just something about this bag that is so easy to style. It just goes with everything. Most of the bags that I just showed you earlier are quite easy to style, honestly. They're very, very versatile, and that's why I love Chanel. Love Chanel so much because of that reason, but especially this bag. No issues with the bottom at all, nothing like that. Like I said, I am careful, but I don't baby. The only places that you will find a little bit of dirt is just around the edges of this, just because the dust tends to collect there. Only you will see it because you're the one using it, but like from afar on camera you don't even see it. It just is a fantastic bag. I love it. The zipper is so smooth and the style of it is just the coolest bag ever. I know that they started calling it the small, but it used to be called the mini. So basically it is the smallest Coco handle offered at the moment. And just as a side-by-side, let's just take a look at it. So that's the side-by-side. It's very, very, very similar in size. I'm a big fan of the Coco handle because of a very specific reason. I just love the shape of it. I feel like it's such a pretty bag. It is not as versatile as all the other ones I just showed you earlier. I feel like for this bag, it's more suitable for a dressier look. So it doesn't necessarily go with like leather jacket, like a moto jacket. It doesn't necessarily go with like a, I don't know, with an oversized denim jacket. Like, you know, there's some looks that just don't really suit this bag. This bag is a little bit more feminine. It's a little bit more polished. I'm going to show you a lighter color so that you can see what's going on inside. So this is my gray one. This is my favorite one, by the way. This is my favorite Coco handle. So this is my gray one. I really do encourage you guys to watch my Coco handle review. I did a pretty thorough review of this as well. But as you can see, there's a couple of larger compartments. So the largest compartment is in the front right here. There's one that's right here in the back. It's slightly slimmer. And then there's like this slip pocket in the middle. So those are the compartments in this bag. And I think that's one of the features that I really like about this. There's a little bit more organization, although it is a very small bag, so I wouldn't have minded if it didn't have that division inside either. I really wouldn't have minded. I love that the chain is detachable. I love this handle. This and the fact that the shape is really cute really sold me on this bag. My trio of Coco handles. So let me see if I can hold all of them. Black, blue, and gray. So the blue one is the most different one. This is the one with the real genuine python skin on the handle. So I do have this is the last, well, maybe not the last, but it is pretty close to the last batches of Coco handles that they make that still has the exotic skin, because Chanel has stopped production of all exotic skin since June of this year. So I bought this one in I bought this one last year, which was part of the 18K collection. So at the time they still had real exotic skin. And the good thing about the exotic skin handle Coco handles is that even the inside is lined in 100% leather. So that's just extra luxurious, and you get a piece of exotic skin on the handle if that's your thing. For me, it's not such an important factor. It's more so that I like the look of it. I just like the different tones and just like how shiny this leather is and how different it looks compared to this one, which is just a uniform color and material. With this one, this is also different because this is the first collection, the latest collection, 19A, the first collection where they started doing embossed exotic skin. So embossed exotic skin is just calf skin, basically. It's just embossed. This is the Valentino Rockstud mini crossbody bag. And just as a visual side-by-side, I know they don't really compare, but just as a side-by-side, as you can see, this one is super small. It really is tiny, and the shape is awkward. I mean, the shape is cute, but it's awkward for organizing things in it, and that's why it's hard to organize things in this. That's why it's a novelty bag. Let me just say it again. Do not buy it if you just think that it's a great price point. It's not practical for most people. It's a novelty. I love it though, but you have to know this. Whereas this one is a different story. This one, in my opinion, is my smallest mini bag aside from this. So my second smallest mini bag that is actually functional. Another visual comparison. As you can see, width-wise, exactly the same as my square mini, and that is the reason why this fits so much. Depth-wise, very similar as well. This one fits a phone, my large iPhone XS Max, the largest, most current phone on the market right now. It fits in it. It just fits, but it does fit in it. And that makes a huge difference. So even though you cannot stand up your SLGs the same way as this one, you can still put them, you know, horizontally, and it's so easy access. And this bag is very mushy. Like, I'm gonna mush my bag for you. It's very flexible, and that is also the third reason why it is one of the most awesome practical little bag out there. There's a little slip pocket in there. It's an awesome little bag, and the price point was excellent. I think regular price is around $1,200, you know, give or take. I don't remember the exact amount, but if you get it on sale, you can get it probably at 20, 25, 30% off depending on the sales season. Then it really is a good price. And the chain, I mean, the strap is really amazing. It's very pretty. It's not one of those cheap straps that you get from a lot of bags nowadays. It's a really pretty strap. It's detachable completely from both sides. It's also adjustable to a certain extent. There's 5 settings. There's no wear and tear to speak of. There's no transferring of color. It's just a superb leather, superb design, very pretty, very good price point. Super mini, so if you're not into that Chanel round clutch but you still want a super mini bag to do those really quick errands, this is your guy. I highly recommend this. This one was all the rage, very popular in the last few years. Has died down a little bit, but it's still one of my favorites. With this one, I love it because it's in this beautiful, luxurious, soft lambskin. There's this infamous, beautiful handheld strap that I love, carrying either this way or this way as a clutch. They're very similar, except that I find that because this one has more of a flexible leather, because it's not very, it looks structured, but it's not really, because it's a lambskin, so it's actually really easy to squish. I find that because of this, it's actually quite easy to organize things. So in general, I would say that the more mushy, the more flexible your bag is, then the easier it is to fit things and to organize things in it. And then in general, the more structured it is and the harder it is and the less it fits. I don't quite use it as much just because I have so much to rotate with, but I do really like it. And if you can get it on sale, again, I do recommend it. I love this little strap here. It's amazing, and Valentino quality is just really good. It's lined in leather inside and out with this one, whereas this other one, this more recent offering, is just fabric lined inside. It's very simple. And this is the Palm Springs mini. This is the infamous little backpack that no one wears as a backpack, or at least no one that I know of. Of all the ones that I'm featuring in this video, this one is probably the most carefree. It truly is the most carefree because of the canvas. If it's raining outside, I don't have to worry about it. Travel wise, this bag is excellent as well, except for the thin strap. If you wear it on crossbody, it can kind of dig in after a while. It's just because if you're wearing the same bag every day, and if it gets heavy because you're using the only bag for traveling, for every single day during that trip, then it will dig in a little bit. So I do have a thicker strap that I can change into in that case. In terms of wear and tear, I don't really have a lot to talk about except for the little bit of threading that comes out from the leather pieces, which is a very, very common occurrence for this bag. My only other LV bag is this one, and this is a discontinued style. So if you're new to my channel, you probably, I don't know if you know about this bag, but it's called the Twice. It's a great bag. I have not used it for a while as well, but it is also one of my most carefree bag along with this. They fit about the same amount, but just different shape, different compartments. This is just the one compartment, the one big compartment. This will fit a bottle of water if it's small enough. Very, very well made. There's microfiber lining. The leather is still in pristine condition on mine. There's a middle secret compartment for receipts, and then there's this also another large compartment in the back with a zippered closure. Again, microfiber line. By the way, mine is in the red color and there's no orange whatsoever in the red. It does look a little bit more vibrant on screen, but in real life it's a muted red. It is a true red. There's no orange undertone, there's no blue undertone, maybe very, very, very slight. I have the plain versions with the softer leather if you're a fan of that. I actually kind of really like this harder calfskin, and I never close this bag. Overall, in terms of my entire mini bag collection, the ones that I use the most currently are the Valentino Mini Rockstud. This one is non-stop all the time. I've been using it. This one is the Fendi Mon Trésor little bucket bag. Huge favorite, and have been using it a lot lately. And then just in terms of what I tend to reach for often is definitely my Gabrielle bag from Chanel, and also the Palm Springs has been a big favorite for many years, just that right now, like in the most recent months, I have not been reaching for it, but otherwise it would, like in the fall, I'm sure. I can only give you my own personal opinion, so it's hard for me to decide for someone else. But if you were to ask me if I were to restart my entire Chanel mini collection, which ones would I go for, in what order, here's what I'll do. I'll still get my mini flaps first if I can, but again, it depends on the collection, depends what they come up with. I do prefer it in the caviar just because I do wear them crossbody and they rub, go back and forth and stuff, so I do prefer them in caviar. So if possible, I'll add my mini flaps first, especially the square one, because that's the one that I end up using the most. Second, I will probably go with my Gabrielle, just because I'm a big fan of the bag. It's just so beautiful. And then third of all, I'll probably go with the Coco handle. So those would be my pick. And then everything else is just cherry on top, just different variations adding to the collection. In terms of LV bag, I do think that the Palm Springs mini is a great one to add, just because, I mean, the Twice is already discontinued, but if I were to add just one, and if I'm going to use it as an everyday non-fussy bag, either one of those are great. If you're worried about the trend passing, especially for the Palm Springs mini, then go for the Twice, because the Twice has the most iconic classic shape, and I'm sure you can find it online secondhand at a great price point. If you're not into LV or Chanel, then I highly recommend this little guy here, but only if you can downsize quite a bit, because this is, like I said, this is my second smallest mini bag. If you like something a little bit more fun, I highly recommend the Mon Trésor as well. These are